Okay, so obviously that was a joke. And now you can take off your hood that you're wearing for no apparent
I don't
reason.
know that my hair's gonna look that good.
So obviously we made a silly video to demonstrate a point. That in real life, I am not worried at all that my wife is gonna cheat on me if I lose my hair. What a vain thing. And it's just funny because again, this is the week of our 10th wedding anniversary. And it's just funny because it's like, I know why, like, I think back to like a decade ago or like more than a decade ago. And the pastor of our church was talking about why spouses actually cheat on each other. And they were talking about like, it's not about a physical thing, it's about emotional disconnect. And that's what actually is the greatest threat. And so it's like, it's so funny because now that we've been married 10 years, like that would never cross my mind that you would leave me because I go bald. And like, that's as vain as a question of like, well, if your wife, gains weight, are you gonna leave? Like, how silly, and like, that's not why people actually grow apart. It's a matter of not putting forth that effort on there. But it's just like, the point is for me, for someone to think that tells me that they don't have an understanding of what marriage even is. And so it's just interesting to me that someone would actually think that. Because
maybe they're not married.
They're not married. That's the thing. Like, nobody who leaves that comment is married. And of course, you hear me talk about the comments and the videos I do. I mean, I've got a large amount of subscribers, many of whom are not married, and their fear is that no one will marry them because they're already balding and they're only 20, and they look at me and think I'll never be able to relate to them because I've still got this much hair and I'm 37 and I've been married for 10 years and have 2 kids and have all these jobs. So who am I to tell them anything? So with that being said, what do you tell them?
Don't worry about your hair. Just be a good person. Be funny. Be cool to hang around with.
Did I tell you?
Treat your girl right.
Yeah. Did I tell you what to say before this video? Because man, you're saying the exact same things I tell them all the time. But I do want to get you a little bit scared though about something my wife just said. And that is being funny. You should totally worry about being funny. Like, that is very important. If you're not funny, then that's the thing. Like, you shouldn't subscribe to my channel about hair loss. You should be subscribing to like channels on how to be funny if you're not funny. Because that, I mean, seriously, like that's a big deal. And I want you to, in celebration of our 10th wedding anniversary this week, I've said it before, but I want you to say it on camera.
What?
As far as 2 things I want you to say that we've talked about. For one, as far as hair goes, what's funny is you really don't care about my hair. What you care about, you say that I look better in hats anyway.
Yeah.
And that's something my wife says. So what's funny is she doesn't really keep up with my hair, whether it's, unless it's excessively long or short, she doesn't even notice. She would rather me wear a hat anyway.
I just like the way hats frame faces.
Yeah, so it's like, that's interesting and convenient. But another thing too is, and I tell this story every so often, and they struggle to believe this is real. But I want to go back to when we met, back in October 5th, 2006. That's the day that we met. And I walked into the crowded room. I'm guessing a couple thousand people were in that room. And I saw you and immediately was attracted to you and wanted to talk to you, and I did. But at what point were you attracted to me in that way?
I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's the funny thing is like, but what did it take for me to win you over?
But I think all we did was talk about coffee, and then I was the one who asked you at the end of the night, hey, we should get coffee. And then that's how I guess we started kind of hanging out because we saw each other at church and saw that we had similar friends, and then we started a regular coffee date before we actually started dating.
Yeah, but it was a matter of like, it's just so interesting because it goes back to the concept of, I immediately was attracted to you for how you looked from across a room. And for me, it was always about selling myself and what I talked about, my personality. and the random stories that I told. And by default, I guess, even if accidentally it was funny, maybe, I don't know. I mean,
I'm just thinking about the Korea story.
Yeah, but I didn't run you off.
No.
If you are a true hardcore fan of this channel and you've been watching for a long time, I have mentioned the time when I went to South Korea to this overnight sauna. I'm gonna stop talking about it, but either way, it's a really weird story, and that didn't scare you off. But it was a matter of having interesting
It was
things
just,
to say.
yeah, you always had, and you always have interesting things to say.
Yeah, so it's the gift of communication. It's funny how important that has been from the very beginning for me attracting my wife. And it just shows too, I think, how different, like, and it's funny because whether I've made the video yet or not, but one of the things I want to talk about in that is how I would never want to be a female. Because all the things that you would be judged on and perceived and have to, I wouldn't want any of that. I'd rather be a guy and just have to be funny and interesting and skilled and confident. I'd rather have to be all those
things. I guess because
things.
if you know those 3 or 4 things that you have to be, you can work on those. With a girl, it's never ending. You're constantly judged by other people, and you constantly judge yourself in the eyes of other people.
Yeah, and it's like, so here we are, we've got thousands of guys that are worrying about their looks, when the irony is they're not being judged on the looks to the degree that they think they are. Instead,
right.
Women are. And again, I wouldn't want to be a woman.
I think it's more about personality and connection, and and your personality is more attractive than physical features.
So I know what people are, as we wrap up this video, I know what people are going to ask, because they've asked it before. They'll say, what if when we met, and we were what, 25 when we met, I think?
Maybe, yeah.
What if we would have met and I wasn't wearing a hat and I had no hair up here, but let's assume that I just shaved it off. It makes me wonder how things would have been different. With the same level of confidence though, I would have approached you and talked to you and made conversation with you and hung out with you and made an effort to get to know you.
I don't think it would have mattered. I think I would have been blindsided by love.
Yeah, and it's just funny because like she attracted me from across the room with her beauty, and I convinced her with just me talking and getting to know her, and I really did.
How weird is that?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's funny because it's like so normal as we're talking about it, but like for them that are single and worried about this, like they're putting all this stock in how they look, when really they're making themselves their own worst enemy. They're focusing on the wrong thing. But they won't listen to me, and this is my struggle. They won't listen to me because of the fact that we've been married 10 years and I have this much hair. So like for me as a YouTuber, that's the struggle that I have, that the people who need to hear this the most won't really listen to me because they hold it against me. I've got this much hair. So there you go. There is our actual video that we wanted to make as we are now been married 10 years. But we thought it'd be fun to make a little joke.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it.
And as I was thinking about it, in the first one, you actually got to see that like what I'm wearing down here. I'm horribly wearing white shorts with a white shirt.
I don't think it shows up that well.
Oh, okay. But just because so many of the times I'm not wearing pants when I do these videos, but they never know.
Like you're not wearing pants?
Well, I mean, I've got boxer shorts on.
Oh.
But they don't know that. They just see a shirt, and I don't typically zoom away from the camera.
That's a little interesting piece of information to disclose.
It really is. I mean, that would, if I edited videos, that should be something I'd edit out. Definitely not going to. Well, I guess I'll end the video now.